and welcome to My Sai in 100 Years of Sai, where we celebrate the divine legacy of our beloved Bhagawan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, through the stories of those who've walked with him in love and service. Our guest today is someone whose journey in Swami's mission spans over 3 decades. Brother Ashwin began his Sai path shortly after finishing school, joining Sri Sathya Sai Centre, Merebank, as a youth. At the young age of 24, he went on to becoming one of the founding members and the first president of Sri Sathya Sai Centre, Hillside, which officially opened in October 1989. Since then, Brother Ashwin has served in just about every role within the organization, from president, vice president, youth and Seva Convenor, to Bal Vikas Guru, Bhajan Convenor, and even Tabla Player, just to name a few. He was also the driving force behind several key milestones, including Hillside's anniversary celebrations and the building of our current ashram. While health reasons have limited his recent involvement, Brother Ashwin's dedication over the years has left a lasting legacy. Uncle Ashwin, it's truly an honor to have you here with us today. Welcome to the show. Aum Sri Sai Ram.
Aum Sri Sai Ram, Brother Ashwin.
So, Uncle Ash, let's start right at the beginning. How did you come to Swami? What was it that first drew you to him? And what do you remember most about those early days in the fold?
Brother Ashwin, Swami works in very mysterious ways. He has his calling card for different devotees in different ways. Some may say they had miracles that have attracted them. Mine was not really a miracle, I would say. And I'm being a very practical person, and my mom was actually at the Merebank Sai Centre going there. So it was my duty as a son to take her every Tuesdays to satsang, drop her off, go back home, have something to eat, come back again, pick her up. I'm sure a lot of men do that these days as well, So it went on for a little while, and I thought of being a very practical person. I'm wasting my time going home. I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my petrol even, So I said, no, why not? If I'm dropping her off, let me just jump off, park the car, jump off and go see what's going on, what's the Sai is all about, And I entered that satsang hall. It was in the Merebank Sanatan hall. And only to find, what lovely bhajans, and it just attracted me, But I had a background being in the Divine Life Ashram for many years from a young boy. So I've been involved in singing there for many years. So I loved bhajans as well. And this attracted me, So I said, okay, if I can do it one day, why can't I do it every Tuesdays? And so that's how it actually started my journey with Sai in the Merebank Sai Centre.
Yes,
for very different reasons,
Yes.
for cost reasons, for time reasons, if I may say that. Not a miracle, but from a practical.
So Swami had you practicing sealing on desires long before you could even get to the 9
Exactly, 100%. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So Uncle Ash, at just 24, right, you were instrumental in forming a brand new Sai Centre, Hillside. How was our centre started, and what was the initial experience like, gathering devotees and creating something from the ground up?
Sure, exactly. It's not an easy task. Getting the word out there on Swami. There was a gentleman from the Merebank Sai Centre. His name was Brother Paul Naidu, and he also always told me, "Listen, you've been so long in the Merebank Sai Centre. There has to be a need for devotees in the Merebank village area. I'm sure there are devotees out there, and we need to take Swami to them. So that's where the whole concept started. And that's how Hillside was born. And we had it at a school initially, and we started spreading the word out to a few people that in the neighboring streets and stuff like that, doesn't be having a Sai Centre. If you're interested, if you're following Sai, come join us. And then slowly, it was a process that took time, and devotees starting to hear about this Hillside Sai Centre. Who are these? Is the Sai movement carrying on in this part of Merebank? Because we only had the Bhajan Temple and we had the Divine Life Ashram at that point in time. And so the word started spreading around, and I think devotees knew Swami. They kept it in their own homes through books, so that they've heard of other people's experiences, and say, hey, there's a Sai Centre that's come that we could go and worship Sai. So that's how it was a process. It took time. It's not easy just to have a good congregation of people, but it took a lot of time to get there.
Okay, you definitely got the devotees that live close by to start joining. It's so easy for so many of our devotees to walk to ashram now.
100%.
So, Uncle Ash, we often speak about Swami's unseen hand guiding our every step, right? How did Swami guide the journey for you, both in the formation of our center and also personally? How did Swami's guiding hand help with that?
Exactly, and I believe that Swami is not only in the physical form that we tend to focus too much on.
Yeah.
He can take any form that he wants to. He can take a form of a creature, he can take a form of the nature, could be any religion, he could take the form. So I always felt Swami was in that capacity. Maybe it was a setting that he worked for me, that he had bigger plans for me, and I started with the divine life. So maybe in Swami Shivananda, he was Swami. In my parents teaching me all the values, he was Swami, and later on when Hillside was coming, we had a very learned lady of Sister Dolly. She was my Swami, So Swami takes all those different forms, and it was a process maybe I didn't know then that he was leading me to. He's preparing me for something much, much bigger than what I had envisaged, So that journey came in that form. I would say when I look back at my life, some 36 years later in Hillside, I look back from that point and I say, okay, these are people that were instrumental. These were my Swamis along my way in my journey, and may not be the physical form, but Swami said we need to transcend beyond his physical form, as he always told us, and even though it's not in physical, we should feel his presence in everything around us, in all human beings and things there. So my journey went in that fold, and being with Hillside, the name that we always call now Hillsiders, and it was getting devotees and building relationships up with devotees at that early stage, and over the years became such an extended family, and Swami was in the process working on my journey, to become a leader, to help them show the others the path for future leaders to come, to give them the grounding, the foundation. What an organization I envisage to be Hillside. This is the way it needs to move forward, in the years to come, and I think future leaders took that vision, into the years later, So my journey in that capacity, in a leadership capacity, always was to give others back, And although I played many different roles in the organization over the years, it made me a better person. It made me a more fuller person to understand the little kids. I worked with the kids, I worked with the youths, I worked with the adults. So I was able to be that complete person that Swami wanted me to be, to see everybody equally, to go to the level of the child, go to the level of the youth, to go to the level of the elder, So my journey in that capacity made me a much better person from a character point of view. I was able to listen as well, also to lead as well at the same time, to give direction, So overall, that's my journey, and I'm very grateful to Swami in that capacity. He's giving me all these opportunities. I always look at it as opportunities, not as problems.
Yes.
There may be challenges, but I would look at it as an opportunity to do something about it, to find a solution, to learn from that challenges, and to become a better person. So that would be my journey along the way.
We can look at your challenges as the sandpapering, Swami says.
Exactly.
Sandpapering, right? And speaking of that, like you've just explained how Swami had made you an instrument, right, of his mission here. Speaking of, and also you said, Swami is not his physical form, but thinking of his physical form, have you had any experiences? Have you visited Prashanti during when Swami was here in his physical form? Do you have any recollections of your visits to Prashanti that you could share with us?
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, my only one visit has been to Prashanti, and it was a wonderful experience, especially seeing Swami in his physical form. It was really enlightening to me, and obviously the experiences are there. Everyone says when you see Swami for the first time in his physical form, it's like it's another experience altogether, and no different to me as well. I experienced it. The bhajans and seeing Swami around was fantastic, and I did have a miracle that I did experience, not exactly in Prashanti, but it was outside Prashanti, and if you want me, I could share that miracle with you that I did have. Not many knows about it.
Our viewers would also want to hear.
Yeah, not many know about it, but I'll do share that. And while I was at Prashanti, and there were some American devotees that were there as well, and the buzzword around that time was Prema Sai, and everyone is talking about Prema Sai, and when he's going to be born, where he's going to be born, when he's going to be born, and so I got to hear this conversation, and they said, no, they're going to an ashram in Bangalore, where there is a thing called that where Swami is going to be born on the banks of the Kaveri River. There's an ashram there, and there's a lot of miracles happening and things like that. So I was a little bit skeptical about it, but I said, okay, I'm going in that direction after Prashanti, let me stop there. So I did with these American devotees. I stopped there, and we went there, and there was a talks about Prema Sai, and he's going to be born in that area, and miracles were happening. So we did our prayers and things like that, and then the Swamiji there at the ashram, I don't know, for some reason he calls me, and from the crowd he calls me and he tells me, Bhaji, I just want you to come here. I wanted to have a look at your hand. So I said, okay, I thought he's probably doing reading of the palms, reading of the palm. That's what he wants to do. And so I gave him my hand, and he said, no, I'm looking at your hand, and I see you've got a lot of faith in Swami. I said, I tried to do my best, And he said, no, I want to see something in your hand. So he looks at my hand. He said, okay, I'm going to put a drop of honey on your hand. And generally, not many people, anything will happen to it. He'll just stay like that. But if it does increase on its own, it will tell you the amount of faith you have in Swami, and a lot more things going to happen to you. And so I didn't really believe it,
yes.
You know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. So he drops a lot of honey there, and I'm looking at it, and he gets away. And Brother Dinesh, to my amazement, that he just started getting more and more and more and more and more, and it's actually my whole palm actually became full with honey,
Goosebumps.
Yes, exactly in front of my own eyes, and so that was just an assurance that Swami is there for me, no matter what obstacles or what challenges I have, he will be there for me, and I've tried to keep that faith, and whenever I have problems, I know it's at his feet and he will solve it, Yeah, so that's a little bit of a miracle.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried putting honey again on your hands to try and see it?
I tried to eat the honey now. Yeah.
That's literal goosebumps, huh?
Yeah.
Uncle Ashwin, every journey, right, it comes with its own share of obstacles, like we spoke about the sandpapering, right?
Exactly.
While there may have been those many challenges you went through, why did you continue in Swami's mission? What kept you going during the tougher times?
Yeah. And as I said earlier, those tougher times, sometimes it can be really tough, there was a stage at the early stages of the Hillside Sai Centre where there were some negative forces that actually didn't want the hillside to continue. In myself and Sister Dolly, we had lots of conversations about it, and we looked at it as they made life difficult. So those were like a real difficult challenge. But then we realized that, listen, we've got a mission of Swami, which is more important. There may be negative forces around, but the mission of Swami is more important, and especially in this area.
Yes.
So we must continue. We must face those problems. We must face it, and we've got Swami's teachings behind us, and we must move forward. So that has made me a much stronger leader. So I always looked at challenges as opportunities. There was a further time when this very ashram that we enjoy our bhajans and things like that. It looks nice now, but at one stage it was just an open room, no floors, no windows, nothing. And so I was given an opportunity to actually build this ashram. As Brother Krishna to a certain point, and then after that he had to leave, and then I had given this opportunity to actually coordinate the building of this ashram. So that was a tremendous experience to go through something like that, and to get the whole Hillside members involved in building. So a lot of devotees will go back in time and say, listen, we put our hand in there, we put this, we did that, we built this ashram with our hands,
Yes.
So it's a good feeling that you could be able to lead people at the same time and get people involved in the organization. So these challenges are good. It sandpapered me, made me a better person. And we're not perfect, but we're always learning, and so I still got a lot to learn as well from that.
You can definitely add Swami's builder to your list of opportunities. Swami gave you, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay, and finally, if you were to look back at the full arc of your spiritual journey, right? How would you describe my Sai in 100 Years of Sai, your relationship with Swami?
Yeah, Swami to me has been much more than what I thought it would be. He would be my friend. He would be my guru. He would be my person in comfort, solace. He'd be my friend when I'm having a problem that I could ask him answers. So he's my God. He's my parents. He came in the form of my parents. I would even go to say, as a teacher, he came in the form of Sister Dolly. To me, as a guru, who taught me a lot of Swami's teachings. I'm very grateful for that. So that journey, that arc journey that you're referring to, is obviously not a completed one. It still has to carry on, and it's made me a more complete person, a person that can relate to a child, can relate to an adult, to a youth. It made me a better person in that aspect, in terms of my journey, and I know he's always there for me, no matter what, and so he's my guru, and I'm grateful to him. To every morning, I'm not only asking him anything, but I'm also saying thank you for what you've given me all these years. I'm grateful for that. I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm grateful for a wonderful wife that I have, that has supported me in my business, in the Sai movement, in the family, kids that are well educated on their own. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful you gave me this opportunity of a Hillside Sai Centre to be born. I'm grateful for that. It's all his doings. That I'm grateful for the extended families that I've created here in Hillside Sai Centre. We've got very, very close relationships, with each other, So that full journey is like a little puzzle. Pieces of the puzzle all put together will give you the final picture, And so these are the little pieces of the journey of Swami with me. It's little pieces of puzzle all put together, and I can see the beautiful picture of Swami now.
I don't think the puzzle is complete. I think we still work with the puzzle is still continuing.
Exactly.
There's more pieces.
Pieces have to fit. Yes, exactly.
The journey hasn't ended.
Hasn't ended. Yeah.
So, Uncle Ashwin, I just want to say thank you so much, right, for opening your heart and taking us through your walk with Sai. Your story is not just history, it's inspiration, and it reminds us that when we walk with Swami, you have reminded us, he's on that journey. So no path is ever too steep. We thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Sai Ram.